Well, hello everybody. I know that it's going to start a little slow. I'm not going to see it over here, even though I'm already live. But we'll see how we look. I wanted to start by talking about where we are. We're doing the electronics finally. The print head and some Y-axis brackets, some easy stuff. A couple of things that are different than the picture. So this picture, let's notice the electronics here. I think I need to turn my volume down a little bit. Somebody yesterday was like, hey, I want to see what you're doing a little better. Let's see if I can get that better for everybody. Let's see if that's better. All right, so this plug over here, it was actually, you'll notice the switch is upside down from the picture. This PCB was actually on the other side, and it wouldn't, where these holes are, this PCB wasn't going to fit. Basically, I don't know if they've changed this PCB, if this was mounted upside down, or if they mounted this on the wrong side, or if there's like a change in design and this is like between parts or something. But as this came from the factory, this PCB was on the other side. The PCB is too big, and we wouldn't be able to get to these two holes to lock this in. Right, so this is your Z0 or your Y0. Wouldn't be able to lock in our Y0 because of that. So due to that issue with this piece, I moved the PCB to the other side, and which is not a big deal, just flop these screws around. And then everything seems to fit. It does mean that this switch is opposite of the picture. So I don't know if the PCB changed. It arguably probably doesn't matter. It's going to plug in one way. It's a switch. Switches are switches. But yeah, that's how that was. And that was the Y switch, Y limit switch. It was labeled. So it's not like it's accidentally like the X limit switch, which I'm going to imagine we're going to run into at some point. Also, they have slots in their Y limit switch. They don't have slots in the one I received. So I don't know if that's, again, a change in design or whatever. But there you have it. Those are the little bit of changes we did. But we're ready to move on to more electronic parts. So we've got our Y limit switch in. Now we're going to put, it's head time. So I bought it with two sets of heads. We'll go ahead and put the dual extruder on first. Here it is. I bought it with a dual extruder, and I bought it with a single extruder. Now the dual extruder is already kind of plugged in. I'm gonna unplug. I don't think I want to deal with this plug. Oh, I guess I deal with this plug right off the bat. Okay. So we got two M8s. It's going to go to those two holes there. Yeah? They don't do a good job of showing it, do they? Do. Oh, bring this all the way forward. Let's look at this. Going to the back. Again, I feel like we're missing details here to make sure that we get this correct. I've done this a couple of times now. M4 8 screws, install print head on the slider. Yeah, so he goes in front. This goes in back. If I'm looking at this properly, and no promises that I am, that's going to go back there. He's going to go like so. And if there are four, but those are lined up exactly for the stuff. That doesn't make sense. Not to mention, okay, that's the tail, but like, those screw holes are right on top. Oh, and there's your 0 for that. Okay. Let's look at this from the top. Those are just showing screw holes that should magically be there. I feel like the instructions get a little wonky the more I work on this. I don't mean in a bad way. I mean, like, I think like almost like they ran out of energy emotionally, and they were like, okay, this is good enough. Okay, let's see what's seen here. Okay, that's a hole. That's nothing's going through there. Nothing's going through there. Those screws sure do look like they're holding on this. That's eccentric. Oh, maybe not. So maybe they shipped it with the 4 screws already in place? Would have been nice to tell me that in advance. It's got a good balance to it, though. I mean, all things considered, like, it sits fine. I brought in a box of tools because I wonder if this is... I brought in some extra tools. We'll see if any of them are... Yeah, it's too big. 9 trillion wrenches. You look like the right one. Nailed it. Should make life a little easier. Probably shouldn't have. Could you imagine this falling under that piece of glass? So, these are M10s. Why are there M10s in here, but it calls for M8s? Why are these even in here? It's kind of a interesting thing to already have here. Okay. Ooh. Getting in there is going to be interesting with all this stuff. I did say M8s, and these are definitely... Listen with your eyes. It's confirmed that these are M10s. It might be an 8. M8s, M8s. Let's compare this to our M8s. Oh, 425s. 20s, a lot of 20s. Oh, those are the 16s I bought extra. 8s. Okay, those are 8s. So it had the 8s already in there. I'm gonna need to find... I hate to use these little wrenches, but to get into here, we're not getting into here with a big wrench. That's for sure. Ooh. I don't love standing on this chair. Let's put this here for now. Just dropped another one. There it is. Get it in a second. Let's get this. Let's get at least one bolt in here. I don't know which bolt. A bolt that's easy to get to. Oh. Easier said than done. Easier said than done. Let's... Oh, there we go. I feel like because I've got another print head, right? Because I've got two print heads. I feel like what I should do is these should totally be replaced with thumb screws. Like, it's hard to get to, and with the right size thumb screw, it's not going anywhere. Then with thumb screws, you can put this whole thing together, and I know why those are there, because look, it kind of flexes without those front holes, but man, they're hard to get to. Well, they're hard to get to with this one. I had to go be extra and get the dual extruder. Hey, look what this has. I know Elegoo's not gonna watch this video, but on your Gigas, for reals, man. Yeah, I think this needs thumb screws, especially if I'm going to swap out heads with any regularity at all. I wonder what an M4, I wonder if you can even find M4 thumb screws. Oops, the right way. M4 thumb screws. I'm sure they exist. If they don't, I guess it's a project. Excuse to buy a lathe.